Hi guys, let me just get a quick thumbnail for this vid before I forget. It's been a bit crazy. Had another plumbing disaster I wanted to share with you guys. Let me tidy this shit up. One sec. I'll just shove it behind me. You can't see it now. I'll have a nice clean appearance to the room. Another plumbing disaster. I wanted to share it with you guys. So I got everything was going well, building up some momentum. Oh fucking, never mind. It's gone. All right. Fucking forgot about it. Everything was going well, going nicely. Doing videos every day. Getting on with life. Struck down again by illness. I think it's because I'm at a calorie deficit. I'm cutting, so I'm going to do a video on that soon as well. A really good video about cutting weight. I got ill at the beginning of it, and I've gotten ill now, like near the end of the cut, and you can see I've lost a lot of weight. I think that's why. I think being at a calorie deficit, I'm still ill now. That's why I sound like this. So I got ill, and I was like, oh, fucking great, right near the end of the cut. This is annoying. And then my phone broke, and I didn't have it for like 5 days. All I wanted to do while I was ill was just sit in bed and like go on my phone and shit. I couldn't. It was really annoying. And I was thinking, I was feeling sorry for myself and thinking, oh, fucking great. Like all I wanted to do was go out and walk and like make videos and shit. And couldn't do anything. Couldn't exercise. It was driving me crazy. And then I went out to try and get my phone fixed. I went to the shop, and they didn't have the battery for it. Battery's broken. They didn't have it. So I came home, and just walking to the shop was like, it just killed me because I was so ill, and I was knackered, and I got in and I was like, fuck, that's enough like exertion for me for the day. I just want to get in and like sit down and do nothing. And I got home, and I was like, right, time to have a shower. I'm gonna have a nice relaxing shower. It's the only thing I was enjoying while I was ill was having showers. I think it was like helping to regulate my body temperature. So I got into the shower, and it just wasn't draining, and I was thinking, oh, fucking great, can't even have my shower. Little did I know how bad things would get. So then I don't remember the order in which everything happened, to be honest, but I remember the shower wasn't draining, and I was thinking, this is weird. And I tried to use the plunger on it, and it seemed to make it worse. And then I flushed the toilet, and I could hear it like bubbling in the shower. I was like, oh, that's not good. And I flushed it again, and water started coming up from the shower. And stupidly, I didn't really process this information. I was just like, oh no, that's bad, but I didn't really think about what that actually meant. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to figure that out, what was happening there, what kind of water I was standing in. So I was just standing there and like looking at it and being like, oh fuck. And there were these little stones from the previous plumbing disaster that were in the water. They were coming up. So then I was like, okay, there's a blockage and this shit's coming up. Because I noticed when the guy was fixing the thing before, he was sweeping a lot of like debris and shit and sediment into the shower, into the drain. So then I was, there's all these little bits and pieces around. I was thinking, oh, these are all stones. And so I carried on, and I was like plunging and shit, and I was putting my fingers in there and trying to like, take the drains out and shit. And then I stood on one of these stones, and I was like, oh, that's weird. That stone is like completely soft. Oh, it's a shit. It's a lump of shit. And then I kind of looked around, and I realised like, oh yeah, this is all shit water. This is piss and shit that is all over me, and it's all over the shower, all over all the shampoo bottles and like soaps and everything, and just everywhere. And it's a very badly made shower. It's got a very, very thin kind of like lip around it, so the water can easily overflow. So then I ended up in this really difficult position where like I couldn't wash myself. I couldn't wash myself. I couldn't wash myself because the shower was overflowing and it wouldn't drain. But I needed to wash myself. I needed to wash myself. I don't know why I keep doing that. I was doing it the other day as well, and I couldn't because the shower wouldn't drain. So I couldn't really put any more water in there. But I had kind of no choice because I couldn't just walk shitty water into the house, and I couldn't leave it on me. And there wasn't really any other way of washing myself. So I had to keep trying to like really quickly rinse my feet with the shower, and then stand one foot out the shower, rinse the other foot, get it out. And it's hard to, I can't explain everything in chronological order, but I got into this mess where I was like trying to fix it, and I was trying to stop the cross-contamination and keep rinsing myself. And then I was like spraying my feet with antibacterial spray, and then going back. I had to go back into the shower. I'd go in with a knife to try and like unscrew the drain, and go in with a plunger, go in with chemicals, and I kept going back. And basically in all this like faffing and in this kind of like ill panic, it ended up where the whole bathroom floor was covered in the shit water. It was everywhere. It had all sort of overflowed by this point. Nothing was draining. It wasn't even draining slowly. It just fully wasn't draining. And I left and went to the shop to get a drain snake and Drano, and that it didn't work. And again, just created more mess and drama. And by this point now, like loads of like shredded toilet paper was coming up through the drain, loads of shit, and just I was like in a state, and I was thinking, right, I'll leave it 20 minutes and see if it drains with the Drano. I couldn't go and lie down in bed or anything. I was feeling so ill, and I couldn't lie down in bed because I was covered in shit. I wasn't covered in shit. I had a lot of shit on me, basically. I didn't want to get into the bed. I didn't want to like dirty the bed. So I had to just lie down on the floor and just fucking wait. And I was like, oh man, it was fucking awful. And nothing would work. And we were telling the letting agency, and again, fucking honestly, the worst people. We told the guy who's like our kind of go-to guy at the letting agency, and he was like, because if you saw the previous thing, you'll know they were real cunts about it last time. And we told him, and he was like, okay, don't worry, we our normal guy's away, but we're going to send somebody else, okay? Don't worry, we'll send somebody as soon as possible. And we're like, okay, cool. And then it gets to like an hour, and we're thinking like, I haven't even heard anything yet. He hasn't even given us an ETA. So we try calling him, no answer. Texting him, no response. He's been online. He's not opening our messages. He's clearly on WhatsApp, And we're just like, what the fuck is this about, And we're texting him like, should we just sort one ourselves, because you don't seem to be doing it. He's ignoring it. Eventually I'm thinking like, if we sort one ourselves, we have to pay for it, and that's really difficult to do, and it's much better if they just send someone. And so I call his office, I speak to his manager, and she was going nuts. Like, she was a real bitch. She was basically screaming at me, like going crazy. It got to the point it was in Spanish, but it got to the point I was literally just like, shut up, like, and just put the phone down, because it was like, I had to literally be like, okay, like, and she was just the whole time just like screaming. It was crazy. It was absolutely insane, because all I said, I was like, okay, well, your colleague told us that he was sending someone, so we didn't call anyone. If we have to call them, then fine, but don't tell us that someone is on the way. It's just common, we can't use the toilet, we can't use the shower, there's shit everywhere. Don't tell us that someone's on the way if they're not. Obviously, this is your job. It's very simple, and this is a stupid way of doing it. And And she went berserk. It was crazy. It was fucking crazy. It was like being told off by like a Victorian head teacher. It was really insane. Like I couldn't. It was, you know, one of those calls where you're literally like just holding the phone, like, oh my god, what is wrong with this woman? Like screaming about how like they can't do it. They don't have permission. It's not, you know, the owner has to give permission. And it's like, okay, fine, figure that shit out between you and the owner, because clearly the landlord says none of it is his responsibility. The letting agents say none of it is their responsibility. Fucking whatever, but not my fault, you know. And so she was going crazy, and it just hung up in the end and just thought it's not even worth arguing with these people, just sort it out ourselves. Crazy. And the owner was like, I will send someone or something. And then again, like 2 hours later, he's like, try pouring Drano down it. And it's just like, you said you were going to send someone, now you're telling us to use Drano. We're not fucking stupid. Like, we know how to use Drano, you know? Like, it's mad. They just completely detach themselves from the fact there are actual human beings in this place with like no water. And it was the same last time. For like days we couldn't use the water, and it was just like, you know, like it's not. It's crazy. Landlords, it's like a lot of them. They don't accept the realities of the job before they take it on. And to them, they're like, you buy a place, you make X amount of money a month from it, that's it. No, it's not it. It's a management role. You have to manage the property and everything that goes on around it. And you can subcontract that management, but you still have to manage the subcontracting of that management. It's a job. It's an actual job. They don't want it to be a job. They want it to be literally completely passive income, and there's basically no such thing in this world. Certainly not when you're buying flats and renting them to like young people. It's just fucking, it's not how it works. It doesn't matter the age of the people anyway, but just when you're buying flats and renting them, you know, it's I just mean at this level, at a relatively low level, like, yeah, that's absolutely a job, you know. And so and a very easy one at that. And so they were all just absolutely fucking useless. Yeah, it was crazy. And then we got a guy round, and he did the usual Spanish thing where he's like, I'll be 30 minutes. And I'm like, cool. And he's like, maybe 40. I'm like, all right, cool. See you in 30 or 40 minutes. It gets to an hour, and I ring him up. And I'm like, are you coming? And he's like, yeah, why? I'm like, we're just wondering, you know, because we're waiting. And he's like, I said 30 or 40 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, and it's been an hour. So I'm calling you to make sure you're still coming, you know? And he's like, but I said 30 or 40 minutes. It's like, there's this weird thing here. If someone says 30 minutes, you're supposed to assume they mean double that. And if you assume that they mean what they say, you're wrong. It's like maddening. Like, they'll be like, yeah, I'll be there in 10 minutes. That means 20 minutes. And it's like, why? Like, time is it's numerical. It's like very simple. It's a very literal thing. You don't need to reinvent the system of time, you know. It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. This is not just my perception. It's a well-known thing here. It's crazy. Like, everything is late. It's just, people are just you arrange to meet someone, they will be late. They just will be. And if you want them to arrive now, you can't say now. You have to be like so specific. You have to be like really now, literally now, like, you know. And like, it's mad. It's so dumb. Yeah, he got there anyway, and within like fucking 20 seconds he'd fixed it. He went in, I guess, put some like one shot down or whatever, this acid that just fucking does the whole thing. He put a fucking gas mask on and shit and got rid of it, and in an instant it was done. And then I just had to clean up all the shit water and get on with having my nice relaxing shower, and it was fine in the end. It was about 4 hours of like extreme discomfort and just being surrounded by shit and being ill and desperately wanting to take a shower, and then it was just over, and it was kind of funny. That's how it tends to be with these plumbing things. When it's happening, you feel like you're living in some like fucking third world drama, you know. And then you're like, oh no, actually, you know, my life's pretty easy, really. A plumber can just fix it, and then it's done. And it wasn't too bad. You know, it was easy enough to hold in a couple of pisses for, like, you know, the duration of the toilet not working. Well, I went for a piss anyway. But, yeah, it was fine. So that's where I was for the last week or so. I did a video. I've uploaded that just before this one, so that would have already come up. But I filmed that ages ago before I got ill. I just haven't bothered to do anything while I've been ill. Just been playing Football Manager and stuff. It's been really depressing. Playing Football Manager, not doing very well. Almost got fired. I was like 2 days in, like, man, I'm just in bed playing Football Manager, doing badly at my fake job, and being ill. It was horrible. Yeah, nice. In a way, it's a nice little reset. I started thinking, like, when I was lying in bed, I didn't have a phone, I was having to think about stuff, and I was thinking about all my sort of personal failings and like things that aren't the way I want them to be, and like how I would just usually distract myself. Like, I'm not super distracted normally compared, like, relative to other people around me, but, or just people in general, but like I definitely can, like, block out thoughts just by listening to, like, Simon Jordan on TalkSport all day and shit, and just fucking random, like, podcasts, and looking at shit online. And, you know, I'm sure it's the same for basically everybody. Every time you go for a shit, you're, like, looking at stuff, and the shower is basically the only time where you actually really have time alone with your thoughts. And even lately, when I'm going on walks, I'm, like, doing videos for this channel and shit, and it's a form of thinking out loud. But still, you know, there's times where I was just, during this illness, just in bed, just alone with my thoughts and feeling like shit, and thinking this is probably a good thing. Probably a good thing that I'm, like, worried about money right now, and that I'm worried about where my life is going, and, like, things that have not gone to plan, and all that type of shit. It was a good reset, and it made me think, maybe I should reevaluate how I use my phone and try and use it less. Because I looked back on the week and I thought, like, okay, I was bored without it, but what would I have accomplished with my phone? Nothing. You know, on the computer you can accomplish things. With a phone, what can you achieve? Nothing. I mean, I know there's some jobs and some pursuits you can achieve things using your phone. Obviously, it's like a mode of communication and networking, but really, like, I don't know, I just thought, okay, I was bored without it, and I would have been able to entertain myself with things, but essentially I would have achieved nothing. And to be fair, I was ill, so I wasn't going to do anything anyway, so it would have been good to have it. But it just made me think in general, like, if I didn't have a phone for like 2 weeks now, for example, now that I'm, like, better, what would be the problem? Wouldn't be one at all. It would be fine, and it would free up a lot of time, and I could spend that time doing rubbish like playing Football Manager, or I could spend it, like, thinking or doing other things. But none of us want to do that now, you know. It's hard to do. Yeah, even simple stuff like I was playing with Tara the other day. We were playing Curse of Monkey Island. It's one of my favourite games. She loves it as well, and it's a point and click adventure game, and the animation on it is beautiful, and the dialogue and stuff is, like, really good. It's really well made. But it's crazy how different games were then, because as a 10-year-old I could play this game and focus on it easily, and I wasn't bored, and I was just taking in the animation and the shit, and it was perfectly stimulating, you know. And it's quite challenging, like, the puzzles on it. And now I find myself, like, I'm just, like, it's hard to stay in my seat, and I'm just sat there like, fuck, man, like, this is just, it's just like, I feel my brain like, I need more, like, I need something, you know. I'm just like, it's just hard to even sit there and play it and focus on it. And I'm like, I just want more, like, I want more action from it, you know. I want more to happen. I'm bored, always bored. And I don't think that's very good. It shouldn't be so painful to be, for example, alone with your own thoughts, just to sit, it shouldn't be so difficult. It's becoming very difficult. And if it's difficult for me as a 30-year-old, then for kids now, can't even begin to imagine, to be honest, when every second is filled with stimulation and like TikTok and games and media and entertainment, and even the way education is done now is like designed to be way more. It's just in the same way that like we evolved culturally a lot quicker than our biological evolution could sort of keep up with. So now evolution is just different. It doesn't, it's not like a biological process anymore. The evolution we see around us, none of it is biological anymore. Like in our time for our civilization, like we've barely evolved in that way because it didn't happen that quickly. It's like we haven't even evolved sufficiently to keep up with the change from a hunter-gatherer lifestyle to like an agricultural lifestyle. We're like way behind, that was way too fast for us to evolve with, and technology is moving a lot faster than that, and there's no way that we can realistically evolve like adequately to sort of mitigate the harm that can cause us, and none of it is really like a threat to our survival anyway as individuals, so we wouldn't really, so like it's just disturbing to think like it's like I think it's just like taking a computer and just like telling it to do too much, it's just, we're just putting too much shit into our minds. And even old people now, like even my parents and shit, like they use the internet too much, and they're pretty old even as far as parents go, like they're in their 70s, and like my mum even she checks her emails way too much, more than she wants to, like checks the internet all the time, can't stop refreshing pages and stuff, and like just filling our brain. I feel it while I'm doing it. I'm like, I'm so fucking sick of all this shit. Like, I'm so sick of it. And I stop, and then I'm instantly bored. And I think, don't know, just how are we going to get out of it? Like, I don't know. I don't know if we will. And I guess, you see some cultures, they seem to have just adapted to it. And I see some people, they seem fine with it, Like, they just seem to tolerate it fine. Like, people in, like, China and stuff, like, some Chinese people I've spoken to, and, like, where, like, especially, like, mobile technology is even more popular there. And they just, it's like fully a part of their brain, and a lot of these people, they don't seem as like tired from it, and they don't seem as bored / overstimulated and sort of confused by all the information. They're just kind of like, it's just something that entertains them while they're doing their job or on their lunch break, and when they're finished, and they don't put too much thought into it. And I don't know, some people seem able to tolerate it okay, but to me it feels wrong. And I want to make some changes personally. Like, I want to try and stop using my phone completely for a while, but it's like, well, it's hard to stop using it completely anyway. For example, I use it to film videos when I go out and shit, I'm getting a new one soon with a better camera, which would be awesome. I can do really good videos out there. But like, I don't know. It feels like a mess. The whole thing for everyone feels like a mess. It feels like people's mental health is really going down the toilet. And the thing is, there's mental health going down the toilet, as in like depression, suicide, shit like that. But then there's another part where I think people just become detached, and it's like you just lose part of yourself. It's not, you don't feel it. That's kind of the point. It's like you're just cauterizing these sort of like nerve endings, like metaphorically speaking, like in your brain, there's parts of you that want to feel certain things and can and should probably, and you just sort of like, they just kind of like get singed away gradually and neglected and sort of dried up. And then these other parts of your brain that just want like fucking dopaminergic sort of stimulation, they kind of grow and they get more and more demanding and hungrier. And that's the thing, you can't ever like, that part of you is never full. You can never have enough. The games get better. I've been playing a lot of Apex Legends recently, and it's so good. It's just so good. Like, it's so much better than any game I played in the past. Like, I used to play Counter-Strike for hours when I was a kid. I used to play it all day because I didn't have anything else to do apart from wank. And I couldn't play that now. I'd be bored, But Apex Legends is like incredible. It's so stimulating. It's so stimulating and fun that it makes everything else in life, even really meaningful things, seem boring. And it's really it's been a while recently. I've been like, because I don't like to play games a lot because I think it's like a kind of a waste of time. I don't think it is a waste of time. I think it's fun, especially if you do it with other people, like, and whatever, is totally subjective what a waste of time is. But for me, I've always felt like, or in recent years, I felt like unless I'm playing with like Tara or something or a friend, like I don't really want to play games because they're just so time consuming. Moreover, they take up so much time. Like a movie is 2 hours and then it's done. I've put like probably 100 hours into Apex Legends, and it's I found it really difficult to not play it at times, like it gets to the evening, it's just like, I'll be like, I don't want to play any tonight, and then we'll just look at each other and be like, fuck it, let's play, because it just seems so much more exciting than anything that's kind of all the sort of flat, dry stuff that's going on in normal life. But it's not really, but it just stimulates a certain part of your brain. It's like cocaine. Like, cocaine is not better than other drugs, but you want it more than other drugs, It's more appealing. Even though you have a much better, more fulfilling, rewarding, nourishing experience on like mushrooms or something, and you're more likely to grow as a person, that part of your brain is just like, please give me cocaine, And you take it and it's like, yeah, it's fun, it's like stimulating, but like, is that all that life is about? It's being stimulated? Is that when you're on your deathbed, you'll be like, oh yeah, I had a lot of stimulation, It was a good life, I was very stimulated. I'm ready to die now. After all that stimulation, I'm ready to die with a sense of peace. Or maybe not, so maybe you don't want to die with a sense of peace, you want to die with a sense of stimulation as well. You're like, can someone put a phone in front of my face and put some podcast clips on, and maybe I can like play some kind of thing and a bit of cocaine. I'm going to die anyway, and I'll just be stimulated while I die. Is that what it's about? Don't think so. So, I don't know. Yeah, I'm thinking of making some changes in that regard. It's been useful in that way. Otherwise, I don't know. Landlord's being a fucking bitch about it. He's like, I cannot go on like this. You're going to have to find somewhere else to live. I cannot go on like this. It's like, mate, I didn't do anything, It's the plumbing. Like, sorry you've had to pay for some stuff. I mean, he has had to pay a lot. I do feel sort of sorry for him in a way, but to handle it like this, just take it on the chin, dude. Like, we didn't want to move into a place where we didn't have water for 3 days, and where no one would reply to our messages. Like, we weren't thrilled about that. That wasn't our plan. We didn't do that. That was a pre-existing problem, and this is probably a result of that pre-existing problem, because we didn't fucking do anything. And like, that's just life, you know. So it's his problem, basically. Like, he bought the place. Whoever sold it to him sold him a place with shitty plumbing. It's not our fucking fault. But yeah, anyway, so see how that goes. He's not getting us out, whatever he fucking does. Yeah, that's all really. Yeah, cool. Latest, guys.